It's a 1968 Kaiser M715, which is basically a 5-quarter, what they call in the military, 5-quarter ton cargo truck. And it was designed basically from civilian Gladiator Jeep J10 and J3000 parts. They beefed it up a little bit and to make a cargo truck that would sustain heavy loads over rough terrain. And it was designed as a cheaper answer to the Dodge Power Wagon. They were using the M37 series trucks, which was rated as a 3-quarter ton cargo truck, but it was an expensive truck to purchase, and they were looking for a cheaper out. So the government looked to Kaiser. Kaiser came up with the Gladiator with off-the-shelf parts, and it was kind of the first tactical vehicle produced from off-the-shelf civilian sheet metal. This one particularly, they didn't like it because of the 230 inline 6. A lot of soldiers claimed it was brittle, it was underpowered, and the problem was it's an overhead cam. It was one of the first American overhead cam motors. And it had a lot of aluminum parts in the motor. It had a very long timing chain. The timing chain had a very ornate setup for that time, where it had a bow system that held tension on the timing chain, and it wasn't very strong, for lack of a better idea. And it would snap a lot. It would cause problems with the valves. They had problems adjusting it because of the timing chain. A lot of problems with oil leaking in the early civilian motors, but they solved that with this one. The civilian motors had a motor mount at the front on the timing chain cover, and it leaked a lot. When they redesigned the motor or reused this motor, they put the motor mounts on the side of the block for a stronger use, and did away with most of the leaking issues. It was a good motor. It was just wouldn't hold up to 18-year-olds putting the pedal down for hours on end in convoys, and they got a bad reputation as a result of that, and didn't last long. The government kind of pushed them out of mainstream tactical use in 1970-72. Very few, if any, made it to Vietnam. And by 1975, it was mostly just Guard units using them. After they were DRMO'd from the Guard units, they were given to local fire departments and civil defense. And that's why as many as there are today have survived. They were usually taken pretty good care of and kept indoors and have low mileage. Like this one. This one was originally a fire unit, brush fire unit in Maryland, then ended up in outside of Harper's Ferry, Virginia, as a brush fire unit for a small county, or small city rather. And when it was decided to replace it with a newer truck, one of the volunteer firemen purchased it, and he loved the truck. Took real good care, did some work to it, but then it was decided that he had a kid on the way and it wasn't big enough for the whole family to ride around in, so he wanted a Wagoneer. So I traded my favorite Wagoneer for this truck, and I don't think it was a bad trade. I think we both were happier in the end. Done a lot of off-roading with it and drive it a lot. Just love it. It rides like a Cadillac for a big truck. This particular unit, I guess when it got into civilian use, they took the 24-volt system off and turned it into 12, which makes it more compatible with later model systems, but you lose that deep water fording capability with the original military 24-volt electronics. But I decided to just keep it like it is and keep driving it and having fun, enjoying it. And when it does need a paint job and more restoration work, then I'll restore it back to its original military configuration. But until then, keep on Jeeping it.